Hey, how's it going? I'm Merkaba18. Today I'm going to be bringing you a video in which I try to walk through my thoughts on the state of Rainbow Six Extraction. I want to go ahead and preface this by saying not everybody's going to agree with what I have to say in this video, and that's okay. But there are some thoughts that I've had on Rainbow Six Extraction for a number of weeks, a number of months at this point. And I kind of wanted to share them with you. So just know that this is my opinion. I am not trying to state for the record that this is the only way to think about this. You're allowed to disagree with me. You're allowed to think of this whatever you may. But this is just my opinion. So I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you girls think down below. Please comment in this video. Remember to like the video if you like it. Don't dislike it if you don't like it though. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you would, please. I also play over on Twitch Tuesday through Friday, every Maelstrom reset, every crisis event. So make sure to go check that out over on Twitch if you have not done that at Merkaba18. There are links down below. All right, so let's get right into it. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that this is a video primarily about my concerns about communication as it relates to this game, and not a developmental question as it relates to this game. I have no question in my mind that this game is being supported from a developmental standpoint. They have added 2 new operators to the game for free since the update, or since the launch. They've added new crisis events, 3 of them. They've had a number of balance passes, etc., etc. But one of the things that's happened is we are about a month removed from the last crisis event that took place in early August, a little bit more than a month. And typically around this time, even a couple of weeks ago, as it relates to a time frame, we would have seen some sort of update in terms of new mutations for subzones, new Archean types, etc. And we haven't heard anything about that, and there are just like minor whispers here and there that you hear about how it was delayed or whatever. But the important factor in that is not whether or not it's happening, because my assumption is that it is happening. My gripe is that it is not communicated. I have no idea. I am a full-time content creator with this game, and I play this game pretty much full-time. And I'm as dialed into what is happening in this game from a developmental standpoint, from a community standpoint, etc., as it gets. And I have no idea when that update might come, if it will come at all. We are also close to a month away from the next crisis event. And I don't have any idea what that's going to look like. I don't know if there's going to be drops. I don't have any idea what they plan to do for that. We do know based on and this is an important part here, we do know based on some early communication that took place before the launch that the crisis events are going to go from operator release to Protean release to operator release and back and switch back and forth. So given that the last update brought Echo, as you see on the screen here, this next one is probably going to bring a Protean of some sort, but we have no idea what that's going to look like. And that also means that we don't have any idea what balance passes are going to happen. So let's start there. Balance pass is something that I think is going to become increasingly important as it relates to these updates. With the release of Echo specifically, Zofia was pretty broken, and she had some of the strongest abilities, strongest perks, strongest guns, all of that stuff for months on end. She was the only new op in the game, and she was pretty broken. But Echo is also broken in his own unique way, but he brings something unique to the table in that he sort of mitigates and reduces the effectiveness of some of these other operators. So in my opinion, Echo is sort of a combination of Nomad, Lion, and maybe like IQ or like a drone intel character. If his ability did anything like just gathering intelligence, that would be one thing. But it sort of becomes, as a direct translation, he becomes a direct replacement for Lion and Nomad. And so what that sort of necessitates is that Nomad and Lion need a little bit of a rework. And that is on top of some of these other ops like Capitao and IQ, and to a lesser degree Pulse. They're going to need a balance pass, because what happens is, if I have the option to choose Echo, why would I ever choose Pulse? other than maybe he has better guns, but I don't need to use my gun as Echo. I just don't. And Lion is sort of minimized in his effectiveness here because the Echo drone does basically the same thing the Lion EE scan does. You have to bear with me too, by the way. I'm getting sick here, and so you'll see me momentarily pause to drink some water so that I don't start to have a coughing fit. So my apologies. Bear with me. So the balance pass thing is going to be very important as they continue to release new operators. But it's been 6 months since we've seen a balance pass, and that balance pass brought a buff to Finka. So many of you remember back when they introduced the Vigil Protean, the balance pass took place and it buffed Finka. So my guess is that we will see balance passes that buff other operators rather than nerfing. So just keep that in mind. But the problem is we don't know. And there's been bare minimum balance passes on this game since launch, and it's gonna have to start to happen because Echo effectively replaces 2 of the ops that are in the game, and we have a very small window, a very small selection of those ops. So that's an issue in terms of the communication. I don't know if this next update is going to come with a balance pass. I don't know if in the future, as it relates to year 2, whether we're going to see balance passes, and that's a problem. That's a little bit of a problem. It's also been a close to 6 months or more since we've seen a Archean introduced to the game. We had Storm Spikers, Feral Grunts, we had some Immortal Smasher variants, and some other very small like changes to variations, and we've seen other mutations since that update. But since that month, 6 months ago, since that pass, we haven't seen anything. And it's gonna be important as this game continues to go forward that we see a stronger communication about their plans for Archean types. It's sort of boring at this point, candidly, that the same Archeans, it's essentially the same levels of Archeans that we've seen since the launch almost a year ago. And we don't have any idea what the new ones are going to look like, if they are even having plans for new ones. We'll see. Excuse me. So that's an issue. There's been lack of balance pass. There's been a lack of a communication around like new Archean or mutation types. We're overdue at this stage, at the timing of this video, for both of those. And as it relates to crisis events, there's a really big issue. Because the crisis events have been good. This last one, especially, Eclipse was my favorite. It was challenging. It was tough to learn. The studies were well balanced. It was a lot of fun. But they didn't talk about it until like a day before it came out. And so here's the issue we're going to get to as soon as I get to this last point as well. So there needs to be better communication from the development team, from the social media team, from Ubisoft as a company about what their plans are with this game. And that leads me to my last point, which is the year 2 roadmap. As a broader point, we've been using the same maps for going on 10 months now. And we have no indications whatsoever that there are going to be any new maps, that there will be new mission types of any kind, that there will be new areas to work in, no new special events other than once every 3 months we get a crisis event. And so I would love to see a year 2 roadmap in which you as an average viewer or me as a content creator, we have some idea what your plans are for this game. Even if those things shift, that's okay. And then the other side of this, I really want to emphasize this point as well, because a lot of people made this point. The other side of that as well is that we have to, as a community, give them the space to change plans. So I don't want to hear any entitlement about like, well, you said this, this, and this. Well, that's part of why they probably don't, is because they're concerned about people's reactions to delays and stuff like that. And I accept that. But what you have to do is communicate to some degree, and our responsibility as creators or gamers is to then accept that, hey, if it gets delayed, it gets delayed. And there has to be a civility contract that occurs in that regard. And so my hope is that they will start to communicate to us as viewers, as gamers that love this game, and etc., that sometimes there are delays, and that's okay. But a complete lack of information leaves us thinking that you don't have any plans for this game, right? And what do I mean by that? So you can have the best content in the entire world, but if you don't tell anybody that it's there, nobody's going to have any idea. As a content creator and a full-time streamer for this game, I don't have any idea what their year 2 plans are. And I'm really dialed in. And so what happens is the average player is also going to be struggling to understand what their plans are and is probably not even going to know that they have them. If you look at a lot of the best games in the world right now, they talk about their plans 6 months out or 3 or 4 months out at least, so that people know that it's there. And what happens when you don't do that is you feed this perception, and that's an important word here. Whether it's true or not, it feeds the perception that you're letting your game die and that you don't care enough to release new things for it. And I understand that a lot of it is free, a lot of it is not add-on, but that's beside the point of knowing that it exists. If you don't tell people, hey, we plan to do X, Y, or Z, here's what you can expect, they're just going to assume that you don't have any plans. And they're going to go on to other games. They're going to play other new releases. We are entering a new release season in which we're seeing Warzone 2. We're seeing Modern Warfare. There's updates to Fortnite. There's updates to all these different things. If you look at those games, they talk about their games months and months and months in advance. They don't wait until the day before it launches, even with updates. Even post-launch, they don't wait until the day before it comes out to tell anybody. And so it feeds this perception that you don't care and that you're letting your game slowly go out to pasture, even if that is not true. Even if you have a full year or 5-year plan for your game, until you tell anybody, nobody's going to care. You have to make people care about it in order for them to care about it. So that's my 2 cents on this. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you girls think. Please remember to comment below. And before we go, I want to make sure that you guys and girls are aware of my channel partner here. This is Rogue Energy and Hydration. They have 3 different product lines: hydration, energy, and extreme, with different levels of caffeine depending on your needs. There is no sugar added and no artificial sweeteners. So they provide energy boosts and hydration through natural vitamins and compounds that don't result in high spikes in energy and crashes that you often see with energy drinks. So make sure to go check them out. In the description, there's a link to their website. If you use my code Merkaba at checkout, you get 20% off, and it helps support my content. So make sure to go check them out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.